You don't even decide to do it. That's the part nobody talks about. Your alarm goes off, eyes barely open, brain still half asleep, and before you've taken a single conscious breath of the day, your hand is already moving, reaching for the phone, opening something, consuming something. You didn't choose that. Your body just did it. Like breathing, like blinking, completely automatic. And in that one small moment, before you've said a single word, before you've had a single thought that actually belongs to you, the day has already started without you in it.
Look, you already know the numbers. 9 hours, average daily screen time for Gen Z. You've seen that statistic before, probably on your phone. You already know what dopamine is. You've watched the videos about it, you've read the threads, you know social media is engineered to keep you scrolling. You know the algorithm doesn't care about you. You know all of it. And knowing it hasn't done a single thing about the feeling. That heavy, hollow feeling that sits somewhere in your chest by mid-afternoon, that strange exhaustion that hits you even on days you haven't done anything physically demanding, that inability to focus on one thing for longer than a few minutes before your brain quietly starts pulling towards something else, that feeling. Knowing the statistics doesn't touch it, because this isn't really a knowledge problem, it's a shape problem. It's about what 9 hours of daily digital consumption is doing to the actual shape of your inner world.
Think about a pool of water. Clear, still, completely calm. You can see straight to the bottom. Every thought visible, every feeling easy to locate. That's what a rested, unstimulated mind actually feels like. Now throw a rock into it. The water moves, goes cloudy, swirls around, takes a while to settle back down. Every single time you switch from one piece of content to another, every app change, every video skip, every tab opened, that's a rock dropped straight into your mental pool. Now imagine doing that every 15 seconds, for 9 hours. The water never settles, not once, not for a single moment, just constant movement, constant disturbance, constant low-level chaos swirling around in there. And by the end of the day, your mind isn't tired in a normal way. It's muddy, thick, unclear. You try to locate a thought and it just disappears into the murk. You try to feel something and it's like reaching into fog. That muddy feeling, that's not laziness. That's what permanent, uninterrupted cognitive disturbance actually feels like from the inside.
But here's the thing that makes it worse. Your brain isn't just a passive pool sitting there getting rocks thrown into it. It's actively working every single time you switch. Think about an old computer. When you close one program and open another, the whole machine has to clear what it was doing, reload its systems, recalibrate for the new task. Takes a few seconds, uses real processing power. Your brain does the exact same thing. Every time you go from a cooking video to a news clip, to a meme, to a game highlight, to someone's opinion about something that happened today, your brain has to completely shut down one reality and reboot into another. It has to ask itself, where am I? What context is this? What do I need to feel right now? What rules apply here? That reboot uses real energy, actual measurable cognitive fuel. And when you force your brain to do that reboot every few seconds for 9 hours straight, by noon the tank is empty, completely flat, nothing left. So when you sit down in the afternoon and try to do something that actually matters to you, study something, build something, think clearly about your life, there's nothing there. Not because you're unmotivated, not because you don't care, because you already spent everything, before lunch, on content you won't even remember tomorrow.
And then the numbness comes. This is the part that scares people when they really sit with it. When the brain is pushed past what it can handle, too much input, too much switching, too much reboot after reboot after reboot, it does something very human.
It protects itself. It turns the volume down on everything, not just on the noise, on all of it. The good stuff, too. Things that used to feel exciting start feeling flat. Music that used to hit different starts sounding like background noise. Food tastes less. Conversations feel like they're happening at a slight distance. Even good news, something genuinely good happening in your actual life, lands without the feeling it should bring. You're there, you're present, you're functioning, but you're watching it all through glass. This isn't depression in the clinical sense. It's not a chemical imbalance. It's not a character flaw. It's a brain that has been overwhelmed so consistently for so long that it made a rational decision to lower the volume on the world so it could survive the noise. The numbness isn't the disease. The numbness is the cure your brain invented. But the cure is costing you your life.
Now here's the part that goes deepest. The real damage isn't the exhaustion. It isn't even the numbness. It's what gets quietly replaced without you noticing. Human beings need boredom, not the anxious, uncomfortable boredom of sitting with nothing and desperately wanting stimulation, the other kind, the slow, spacious kind where your mind starts to wander without direction, where random thoughts surface and connect to other thoughts, where something that happened 3 weeks ago suddenly makes sense in a new way. That wandering state, psychologists call it the default mode network, is where creativity actually lives, where self-understanding happens, where you figure out what you actually want, what actually matters to you, what kind of life actually fits who you are underneath all the noise. It only activates in genuine empty space. And empty space is exactly what 9 hours of daily screen time eliminates completely. Every gap gets filled. Waiting for food, phone out. Walking somewhere, earphones in. Trying to fall asleep, something playing in the background. Waking up, back to the feed before the eyes fully open. There is no empty space left, and when there's no empty space, the wandering never happens, and when the wandering never happens, you stop discovering what you actually want, not what's trending, not what the feed surfaced this morning, not what the algorithm has slowly, quietly, patiently trained you to respond to, what you, specifically you, actually want from your life. That thing gets harder and harder to locate, not because it's gone, because you never give yourself the silence long enough to hear it.
So what actually helps? Not a detox challenge, not deleting apps dramatically for a week and then returning to everything exactly as it was. Something simpler and harder. Sitting with the muddy water until it clears. That's it. That's the whole thing. Put the phone down. Don't replace it with something else. Don't fill the gap with a podcast or music or anything else that requires your attention. Just sit. Let the pool go still. The first few minutes will feel uncomfortable. Your hand will want to reach for something. Your brain will generate a mild panic about not being stimulated. That panic is real, and it passes. After it passes, something strange happens. Thoughts start surfacing. Real ones. Yours. Not reactions to content, not opinions about things you just watched, actual original thoughts that came from somewhere inside you rather than from a feed. And in those thoughts, if you stay long enough, you'll start to find the thing the algorithm was always blocking. Yourself. What you're actually feeling. What you actually want. What's actually bothering you underneath all the scrolling that was keeping you from having to sit with it. The screen was never just entertainment. It was distance. Distance from the uncomfortable, necessary, deeply human experience of being alone with your own mind long enough to actually know it. And the path back isn't complicated.
It just requires something the entire digital world is engineered to prevent. A moment of genuine, uninterrupted quiet. Start there. Just there.